and welcome to Elder Council. Woo! I'm so excited for tonight. I hope you are too. One of my favorite nights, each quarter is Elder Council, when we get to come together and just have this really deep connection with our spirit guides and our ancestors and whoever else wants to come and party. And it's Nicole's first. Anybody else having a first Elder Council experience tonight? That's a moment to remember. It's great to see you. I see you too. Yeah, your mala. Actually, I forgot to grab my mala. Give me 1 second. I gotta go get mine. I told you to bring yours and then I forgot to have mine, but I always have one with me. Look at all the firsts and seconds. How cool is that? Wow, you have something to be excited about. I mean, at least from my perspective. Yeah, I will tell you guys, I feel great. I mean, I feel really strong and really healthy, but I'm very tired. I have a new puppy. If you ever had a puppy before, he's 10 weeks old. He is the best puppy I've ever had. I mean, he couldn't be any better. But I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in about 10 days. Just because I'm a mom, and so anytime he whimpers in the middle of the night, I have one eye open, kind of. So anyway, bear with me. I think it'll be a beautiful journey, but if I seem a little tired, I'll just tell you that I am. I've had a lot of caffeine today. But wow, he's brought a lot of joy into our house. I haven't heard my kids laugh this much in a long time. So, and Fabienne has a 10-week-old Bichon. Those are beautiful babies too. But it is like having a newborn. And I think I repressed what that's like. So part of me is like, well, here we go, newborn days. Hold on just a second. I'm going to send a quick note to the kids for something that I forgot to tell them. Okay, so now I'm with you fully. My necklace. So tonight's Elder Council. Bye-bye, Genevieve. She says, see you all after Journey. Tonight's Elder Council, I have so much to tell you, so I'm going to take a minute to breathe into the space, help you breathe into the space. Elder Council is a big deal. I'm really excited for tonight's. I never repeat an Elder Council meditation in all the years I've been doing this. And I'm pretty sure I started Elder Council 9 years ago. And it's always been for members of, first it was the sabbatical, and then the sabbatical became Soul Shift, and then I've done it for Soul Shift ever since. Yeah, the kids are on dog duty. While I'm here with you, because Dave had a meeting today, we've been trying to split parental dog duties. Can you guys hear me okay? Just want to make sure. Elizabeth says I'm quiet. Okay, so there's a lot to tell you. Elder Council is one of your free gifts that comes with Soul Shift, right? So in addition to all of your regular classes, you get Elder Council once a quarter. And Elder Council is our chance to really connect deeply with our spirit guides and our ancestors. And it's not that you don't connect with spirit guides and ancestors during other meditations, because certainly you do, right? But Elder Council has that kind of explicit intention. Let me just make sure they got my message. Yeah, they did. Elder Council has that very explicit intention. So, and I journey with you. That's why I'm shutting my phone off now. I completely go for this ride with you. And it's emotional sometimes. I mean, if you've been doing it with me for a long time, you've seen me fly and cry and process and go right along for the ride with you. So I'm drumming and I'm holding the space. So here's the thing. I would love for you to drum with me tonight, unless it's going to keep you from going in deep. Some people really need to lay down and do Elder Council, you know what I mean? And not have the distraction of doing the drum. If you can drum and journey at the same time, and I do that, but I've been doing this for a long time. So if you're newer to your drumming journey, you may want to just do Elder Council and enjoy it. And then what you could do is watch it later and try doing it a second time, but drumming through it, and see how deep you go. That's one alternative for you to consider. But I will always invite you to drum with me. I love the idea that you're drumming alongside me. I just think it's really cool. And I think it's opened up a doorway for us in Soul Shift to be able to infuse sound into the work that we do together. I'm going to try to make more and more drumming opportunities in class. Yeah, so if you brought your drum, Janine brought hers, then you're good to go. And if you just want to lay back, relax, and fly away a little bit, I want to encourage you to do that too. How many times in the month, right? Normally we have one guided meditation in Soul Shift. That's our main opportunity to journey, right? You can totally watch later after the kids go to bed, because you know what your rhythms are. You know what set and setting work best for you. What room to be in, what time to do it, you know what I mean? So what I would say is, if you're going to watch it later and you think it'll be more peaceful, maybe just drum with me through it, and see how far you go, and then later do it again, but really allow yourself to drop in. Does that make sense? Yep, I love that. Teresa's like, all time is now, and she's very right. Karen's got her drum ready. We do have some tools that we work with at Elder Council. I am going to be pulling cards for you today, so that's why these are sitting here, because that's what my spirit guides wanted me to do. I do what I'm told most of the time. At least when they tell me I do what I'm told. So you don't have to have Elder Council tools, but we do have them, and I love them. I'm going to tell you the story about them again. These are the tools I'm working with tonight. So Elder Council is very unique. Elder Council is a blend. Are you ready? Elder Council is a blend of sandalwood, Palo Santo, and that's whether it's the perfume or the incense or the candle. Sandalwood, Palo Santo, cedar, white sage, white pine, eucalyptus, patchouli, myrrh, frankincense, and ceremonial tobacco. That's what's in here. There's other ingredients in there too. It's like the magical kitchen sink. Most people love this incense. Even people who don't like incense love this incense. Everything ceremonial and magical is in here. We do have, at onstagegoddess.com, we don't have everything. I don't know if we have the candles, for example, but I know that we have the incense, and I know that we have the perfume that we're working with tonight. This is an old Elder Council perfume I'm working with tonight, but some of you have it. Do you remember Femme Elder? We did an Elder Council before that was focused on the mother line and the mother goddess. We're doing that again tonight. The difference between regular Elder Council perfume and Femme Elder Council is that I added champaka, carnation, I added labdanum and arbor vitae, which is the tree of life oil. It's got some feminine roots in here beyond just the what I would call highly masculine Elder Council blend. So if you have Femme Elder, that's what I'm going to be working with tonight. Elder Council incense, I do want to take a minute to tell you the story because it's just kind of a cool story, and I know a lot of you have heard it before, but some of you haven't, and I personally love it when my teachers retell their favorite stories. I always feel like it's a treat because I get to hear it again. And you know what I realized, you guys? I realized something after our last session, and I've been waiting until today to tell you. It'd be great if I had a lighter that works. Hold on. I swear I go through lighters like most people go through water. It probably doesn't surprise you. I'm always burning something. Is it lit? Maybe it's lit all the way and it's done. Okay. Okay, back to me. So I'm going to tell you what I forgot to tell you last week real quick, and then I'm going to tell you the story of Elder Council incense, because there's a good story. Matrilineal would be good. Gold perfume would be great. You kind of can't go wrong. You know what I mean? If you have any of the female goddess perfumes, anything from Gaia to Ishtar to our old Shakti blend to any of that would be really good. I kind of just want you to use your intuition. You know what I mean? So, okay, so here's what I forgot to tell you. Thank you for that, Vanya. Do you remember when I was telling you the story about Rose and her teacher that she'd gone on a vision quest with in the desert Southwest? Remember that story about the two teepees? And it was like she wanted to go into the teepees because they saw them off in the distance. They'd been doing peyote all night, and it was a vision quest. Remember the story? And I told you how she saw the two teepees and he saw the two teepees, and she said, I want to go down there to the teepees, and he said, you can't go in the teepees because one of them isn't real, and if you go in the one that isn't real, it will take you with it. Do you remember that story? What I forgot to tell you, and do you know what happened? The night after I had that dream, or the night after I taught that class, I had a dream where she said to me, you didn't finish the story. And I didn't. It was the craziest lucid dream. I talked to her just a couple of days ago, and I was like, are you dream walking? The end of the story that I didn't tell you is they actually, when they fell asleep, so he said, we can't go because if you go in the wrong teepee, one of them isn't real and it will disappear and it will take you with it, right? In the morning, when they woke up, there was only one teepee where they had seen two. And she said, Athena, they were identical. I mean, it gives me so much chills. She said they were both lit from within. You know, you could tell there was you could see shadows crossing inside of them both, right? Have you ever seen a teepee when it's in use? Yeah, so I'll tell you the quick version of it, because it is, especially for the newbies, it really is worth hearing. So one of my most significant teachers is Native American, and she had gone on a vision quest in the desert Southwest with one of her teachers, and it was a peyote journey. Yeah, maybe that's why. And a vision quest can be with, medicine or without medicine. This was a guided medicinal journey. Some people just go out into the desert for 24, 48 hours. You don't eat, you know what I mean? It's designed to kind of disconnect you from your conscious self and reconnect you with the spirit world. And so they were out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert Southwest. I can't remember if they were in Arizona or New Mexico. I think they were in New Mexico. And they had been walking all night through the desert, on peyote. And she said off in the distance they saw two teepees that were lit. And she said to him, I want to go to those teepees. And they kept walking toward them. And she said they were both lit from within, and you could see shadows of people like crossing inside. So you could tell that these were teepees. She said that had activity of people inside of them. And he said, we can't go there. We can't go to those teepees. And she said, why not? And he said, because one of them isn't real, and it will disappear. And when it disappears, it will take you with it. And he said, try to remember in life, when there are two teepees, sometimes one is not real, and you have to know which teepee is real before you proceed. And it was such a powerful metaphor for me, because I've had to make big choices in my life between this and that, and those choices have completely changed the course of my life. You probably have been through that too, right? And so, when I think about choosing my husband, for example, over the other person in my life at the time, I wouldn't have had children. I'm sure I've told you that story. Because it turned out that the other person that I was with just before David wasn't able to have children, and he didn't know it at the time. And I'm still friends with him. We talk about the fact that it's good that if I was meant to have children, my life turned out the right way, right, with the right partner. Pretty crazy. So that was a not real teepee in the sense of my life would have just been so radically different without my two kids. But the final part of the story is that when they woke up in the morning, they went to sleep. They fell asleep somewhere in the desert outside, right? And when they woke up in the morning, there was a teepee there, but there was only one. And that was the conclusion to that story, right? Well, Space Daisy's asking, how do you know? Do you wait until dawn? You do. Sometimes you have to wait until dawn. Sometimes you have to make the choice and trust, right? But what I have found, and part of what she taught me, her biggest teaching to me, and this is, by the way, this is completely relevant to Elder Council tonight. I hope it doesn't seem like I'm on a tangent, because I'll make the connection for you in just a second. Her biggest teaching to me was to wait on things. Not to rush ceremony, She was a very she is a very exuberant, wild, beautiful woman. But she actually really preaches abstinence when people are dating. She says people should wait to consummate relationships until they literally can't wait anymore. Because she believes that you raise a cone of energy for your relationship. Now, Dave and I, kind of started off as a one-night stand. So, but I met her after I met David. So maybe I would have done it differently in hindsight, but Dave and I had too much chemistry. We couldn't wait. But anyway, her message to me was always wait. Take your time. Ease in. Don't rush. Don't rush to fix things. Don't rush to change things. Don't rush to answer people about things. Like, take your time. And that's the lesson of the teepees. If you wait, the universe will show you. Have you ever had this experience? Ever had this experience where if you're not sure about somebody, or you're not sure about something, or you're not sure about a job, or you're not sure about something, right? And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And you're asking everybody, and everybody's uncle and everybody's aunt, what should you do? What should you do? Oh, did I say consumption? I meant consummation. Although I consumed him too. I definitely devoured that man. I'm a passionate chick, when we find our person, we like to dive right in. But anyway, where was I going with that? Kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, and if you wait long enough, you get your answer. Have you found that? Like, people will show you who they are. Situations will show you if they're right for you. Don't you think? Like, if you wait long enough. I have sat with the question so many times, right? Yeah, it's interesting, Megan. Well, I think it's good for you to open the door to the question, right? Like, it doesn't mean you can't ever take action in your life anymore. But I do want you to look at things a little differently. I mean, the whole point of Soul Shift, I hope you know this. And it was a really great opportunity. I had somebody ask me the other day what I do, and I told them what I teach. And they said, so when you teach someone, if they go through your class and they graduate, like they're successful, how do you know? How do they know? Right? And I said, because they don't look at their lives the same way. It's called Soul Shift for a reason. We were going to rename this class last year. I think you guys know that. And we all sat around and we all brought other ideas, and it was like, this, that, hoo-ha, whatever names. And at the end of the meeting, I was like, it's Soul Shift. I mean, the whole point of being here is to transform from the inside out, and to look through your eyes but see a different picture, right? To look through your eyes at your partner, or at your relationship, or at your spiritual path, or at the way you're behaving, the way you talk to people, the way you eat, the way you enter relationship, the way you leave relationship, right? If this class works, the only really tangible thing that you will have at the end of it is your capacity to see something differently. You know what I mean? But how you see your life is your life. That's why I'm so passionate about what we're doing here in Soul Shift. How you see your life is your life. You are nothing but embodied perspective. Why do some people choose to go on with their lives and some people choose to end their lives, right? Why do some people constantly seem to be able to find a source of joy and optimism, and some people are just upset and frustrated and angry all the time? My little hammer's out there. It's you could have two different people living your life, no matter who you are. And one could find it absolutely beautiful and joyful, and another could find it really difficult to live. And the only difference would be perspective. There are people who could walk into my house right now and just be like, oh, this is so much fun, there's a lot going on, or they could walk into my life and go, this is too much for me. I can't work the way you do. I can't raise two teenagers. I can't have a puppy. I can't, have parents who need help. I can't do all of that. Like, I can't have employees. I can't manage all of that, right? And it's perspective. I look at it and it's like, I love this. I love my life. I created this life. But for some people, my life would seem like a gosh darn shit show, right? It's perspective. And so that is what this entire program is about getting you to see, like, the two teepee story. Might just linger in the back of your mind. But next time you're making a choice, you're going to ask yourself, Have I waited long enough? Do I have the information I need to proceed? Am I prepared? Am I prepared that if I proceed now and I don't wait, that I might find an outcome that's different than I expect? Am I ready for that, right? Oh, I love it. It's your third year, Casey. Hasn't it gone by fast? I know. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that the class is resonating with you, because before I started Soul Shift, and especially this year, I looked around for other programs online in spiritual alchemy, and I couldn't find anything that did exactly what this program did, which is why I was like, I guess that means it's needed. Are we meant to be with a totally opposite personality person? I don't think so. I don't believe in the whole opposites attract thing, because I think like energies, like frequencies also attract. Right? I think your intention drives the bus. I really do. My intention was to have children and to live out my soul's passion and purpose. There isn't another man on this planet. Let me say another person, because I'm not heterosexual. There isn't another person on this planet that I could have done what I've done with besides Dave. Like, there just isn't. And that fundamental awareness means that when he's annoying me, when I'm upset with him, when we argue about something, underneath that is my clear awareness that he's a real TB. So there's a bulletproofness to our relationship that's anchored in an appreciation that comes from me having a perspective that maybe somebody else wouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? And so, but we're very similar in a lot of ways. We're different in some ways, but we're also very similar. Like in each other's heads type of similar, where it's like, stop thinking my thoughts, right? So, yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, and I think that if you learn how to adjust your sails, if you didn't see the poem I wrote this morning, it really just poured out of my soul right around 9 o'clock this morning. I was drinking my coffee and the house was quiet. Bodhi was asleep. And this poem about alchemy, just like what an alchemist sees when everybody else sees X, alchemists see Y, And it's really resonated with a lot of people, because being an alchemist just means that you know how to take what seems overwhelming, dark, difficult, sad, depressing, discouraging, blah, 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 and transform it. And you know how to do that. You know how to work with the elements to do that. You know how to work with your own mind to do that. You know how to work with available resources to do that. Like, it's not when things go south, you go north. When things go east, you go west. Like, it becomes this kind of automatic process for you. And thank you for that. We're actually gonna put that poem on we're gonna meme it up a little bit. My team is making it kind of pretty so that if you want to print it out and frame it, it's not just like on notebook paper. So stand by. Claire offered to do that once she read it, which I thought was really cool. But I wrote that in so many ways for you, to remind you on the hard days that where other people see. Yeah, and Alexis can link to my personal Facebook page, or if you go to my personal Facebook page and follow me there. Send me a friend request if you can, because I'm at the friend limit, but every time somebody leaves me, I add one of you. My goal is for my friends list to be only Soul Shift and Crystal Masters members, other than my personal friends and family. But even some of my personal friends and family are in programs. So one by one, as people who aren't in Soul Shift and Crystal Masters leave me, I don't know, they go off Facebook or they unfriend me or whatever, I say something they don't like, then I go and add one of you guys. So thank you for that. So anyway, that's where I wanted to start, was by telling you that. Now I'm going to tell you the story of Elder Council and Elder Council Incense, because those stories are kind of intertwined, and they're two of my favorite stories too. I'm keeping an eye on the feed just to see if you have questions as we go. Yeah, it may take me like months to add you as a friend, because people leave, but they don't leave all the time. You know what I mean? So, but as people bid me farewell for whatever reason. Well, when I was posting about masks, because I'm immune compromised, and I think while we're in a pandemic, people should wear masks. When I posted that, I had like 10 or 20 people unfriend me within like 10 minutes, which is okay, because I still feel like it's good to think of other people. Sometimes even if you're not wearing a mask for you, maybe you're wearing it for my daughter who doesn't have a strong immune system, can't protect herself, So anyway, we've gone through some weird things this year. Okay, so I want to talk about Elder Council, and I want to talk about Elder Council incense. Elder Council began about 9 years ago. I had been teaching sabbatical. It's really true, guys. I had been teaching sabbatical, and my spirit guides were on me to do this, what we're doing tonight. And basically told me in meditation what this is. This is, we want you to take them in and lead them through a guided meditation for their ancestors and spirit guides and animal spirit allies too, because a lot of times animals come up in Elder Council, and sometimes hybrid animals will come up. They'll be the head will be a bird and the body will be a fish. Sometimes that happens. If you see, in ancient times, animals were hybrid. I mean, look at Thoth, right? Thoth is a hybrid animal. I believe that in Atlantis, the animals are hybrids, and that's why we have a sphinx, and these other kind of like hybrid-looking, beings in ancient Egypt, because the Atlanteans fled to Egypt largely after the collapse, right? So yeah, animals come up all the time, and also non-human beings will come up. Keep in mind that, in my estimation, based on what I've seen in ayahuasca and other, lucid travel experiences, based on my experience, about a third of the spirit world is invisible, meaning they don't have a form. And my theory on that is, by the way, that if you have, and this is based in physics, if you have a body, your vibration is pretty low, okay? Once you die and you leave this thing, you vibrate at a totally different rate, which is why humans can't see spirits, because we're in like molasses in this 3D, okay? It is super slow, super low vibration, and so that's why sometimes in Elder Council, people will come out and go, I didn't see anything. And it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't have seen them, right? So let me repeat that for Megan. About a third of the spirit world, in my experience, is invisible. They don't have bodies. The spirit world isn't like Earth, but in the clouds. I just want to make sure that everybody understands what we're doing here, right? Does that make sense? The spirit world is not Earth in the clouds. I know we've all seen weird art where it's like the clouds and like people up there waving and stuff. That is not what the spirit world looks like. The spirit world is a spirit world, and the beings there are so high vibrational because they're outside of 3D. They're not bound by time-space dimensions. They can't even get into a physical body, okay, because they're vibrating too high. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell you, is that if you don't see anybody, you probably are seeing somebody. But they just don't have a human suit. They don't have a face or arms or hands or pee-pee or hair. Okay, good. Oh, it's Melissa's, the anniversary of her grandmother's passing. I see you. Thank you for being here tonight. Yeah. So, and some of us see spirits, but that's because some of us vibrate differently. You know what I mean? We're not quite 3D. I think I'm in about the 4th dimension most of the time. And remember, in the 4th dimension, you lose time. In the 5th dimension, you lose space. So I lose time. And I know how to make time slow down, and I know how to make time speed up, but I also lose track of time. Like, I don't know what time it is where I am, legitimately, because I'm not in this dimension. And that's one of the hallmark characteristics of people who have ascended from 3D to 4D. And I don't really want to come back to 3D. I don't really want to be too fixed. You know what I mean? I do the best I can, given what's going on. But 5D is where you don't have spatial dimensions. And 5D requires not having a body, because in order to lose space, you have to be able to think of being somewhere and all of a sudden you're there, right? We used to be able to do that, but we can't do it now. Anyway, your hair grows when you meditate. I love that. So this is just a little bit of the things to know for Elder Council. You might see weird hybrid creatures. You might see nothing, which is not nothing. It's just They can see you can't see them because you're in 3D. You can ask to be shown higher dimensional frequencies in Elder Council and see if that adjusts your view. Ask your spirit guides to show you, right? Yeah, so when people are, because I am usually late to most things in my life. I mean, and not just, my teaching, but I'm late to life, kind of. And most people in my life are just like, that's Athena. She barely knows, like, where she is right now. And take it or leave it. I did want to ring my bell, because technically this is a class, and this class is in session. So 5D is the 5th dimension. 3D is where we are now, 3rd dimension, where we have both space and time boundaries. So I am in a room, and it is 4:39 p.m. Pacific time. That's 3D. In 4D, it isn't 4:40 Pacific time, because there is no time. There's no years or days or minutes or months or decades or centuries or millennia. It's all now. So I experience a little bit of that. And then 5D is where I'm not in a room. I'm everywhere. I'm in this room, but I'm also outside in that tree. And I'm also in Madrid. And I'm also on Saturn. So 5D gets a little trickier. 5D would be like, all of a sudden I'm not on the screen anymore. You know what I mean? We haven't done that yet. Right. The 4th dimension is movement. Yeah. But outside of time boundaries. That's right. Yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, I lose time, but 6th dimension and above is you are completely out of all boundaries, right? But everything is happening now. I mean, the reality is everything is happening now. In some other dimension, your kids are still babies. In some other dimension, in some other dimension, you may even have ended up with a different partner in a different life. You might even be living that other life right now while you're living this one. That's what deja vu is sometimes, is timeline collapse. So all of a sudden you're like, didn't I do that before or see that before? And it's like, it hasn't happened yet, but it will happen, and you're seeing it now. Ever had that happen? There are 12 dimensions according to most metaphysical folks. 12. And at the highest dimensions, there's different hierarchies of spiritual beings. Yeah. There are different hierarchies of spiritual beings. Some spiritual beings are only able to inhabit those 10th, 11th, 12th dimensions. And for a lot of people, those would be the archangels, ascended masters, right? There are sort of hierarchies of beings, yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I'll tell you about my necklace in just a minute. So, Elder Council is something that my spirit guides started asking me to do, like I said, 9 years ago, and I was intimidated. I'm like, wait, I'm going to lead these people. I just started teaching this class. Now I'm going to lead these people to see their spirit guides and their ancestors. And they were like, yes, and we're going to show you how to do that. And but they said, and we'll allow you to do this as long as everybody takes this work really seriously, that you lead through this. And nobody has ever not taken it seriously. I don't know why anybody would, but I always have to give you the caveat, right? So here's the caveat. To come into Elder Council, the only requirement is you have to have a question. And it has to be what they called, seriously, these are their words, a question of import. Okay? And what's a question of import? It can't be like it's not a superficial question. The questions you bring into Elder Council need to be the kind of big questions where the decisions that you make based on those questions can change the outcome of things. So a good question is not, should I wear a blue shirt tomorrow? A good question is, am I on my soul's true path? You know? Should I change my career? Am I with the right person? Should I have children or not have children? You know, those are big questions, right? Is this the right direction to take my soul business in next? You know, will I find new love? How will I find new love? Is it time to find new love? These are the big questions, right? Yeah. So, and you can bring more than one question in. I think that's okay. I'll tell you though, because I've been doing this for a minute, people have deeper experiences when they ask one question. That's been my experience. When people go in and they're like, is she really a true friend? And should I stay with my husband? And what about this job? Should I leave this job? They see a lot of things in elder counsel, but and sense a lot of things and digest a lot of things, but they're not sure which of those questions it applies to, and it gets a little muddy, right? So yeah, and the best question I love is the one that Jessica, and they don't have to be yes or no questions, Linda. In fact, I'm not a big fan of yes and no questions. But the question that a couple of you are echoing back, because I always ask it, is what do I need to know that I don't know today? What do I need to know that I don't know today? But you got to be ready for the answer, right? I mean, that's a big question. What do you need to know that you don't know right now? And almost anything in between. So I'm telling you about this right now so that you can start, as I continue to talk to you for the next few minutes, I want you to start to formulate that question, really think about what that would be for you. And there's no wrong question. It just needs to be important. It shouldn't be superficial. You know what I mean? Am I asking all your questions? Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The questions fundamentally come down to love, right? Work, or service, right? How you bring your gifts forward in the world. And health, usually. There's usually a health question in the mix there too. Those are the big categories of questions that people ask, right? But asking, what your soul path is, or where am I meant to go next, or, you can also ask, why did this happen? Some weird thing that happened to you, or a relationship ends or something, Like, this is a great space to take that question and just say, I'd like more clarity there. Why did that happen the way it did? Or why didn't it happen the way I thought it would, And isn't that a beautiful question too? Because so many times things happen, I don't know if this happens to you, but where I'm just like, really? I mean, I'm a very psychic person, but I still get caught off guard sometimes, and it's like, so what was that about? Why did that happen? Why did I have to go through that, right? So those are the kind of questions that you can take into the experience, and the answers are not going to come to you, especially those of you who are new. It's not going to come like, dear Jess, you should be doing this, you should go here, you should talk to this person. Like, they're not going to give you an itemized list of bullets in response to your question. If you are clairvoyant, you might see more during elder council. If you're clairaudient, you might hear more. If you're clairsentient, you might just pick up on or sense more. Your psychic gifts are going to dictate a lot of how you receive information in this experience too. How do you reclaim your passion, right? I love that. A lot of people like to bring amulets and crystals into this meditation. I highly encourage that practice. The necklace I'm wearing tonight is from my friend Louie. I bought it from him when my shop was still open. He did a pop-up jewelry sale at Sage Goddess that some of you got to come to. It was super fun. Momo was there and Louie was there. Can you imagine? We were all drinking champagne and shopping, and God, it was so much fun. So we can't do that right now. But this is the symbol of the Adi Shakti. I'm going to teach you about this symbol in just a second. It's one of my favorite pieces that I got from him. I don't know if he has any more of them. But yeah, so I'll tell you more about that symbol in just a second. So I started teaching elder council about 9 years ago, and I was in San Francisco at the time. And there was a man who had a metaphysical shop. I've told you this story before too, but it's good for the newbies. And I was talking to him about this meditation I had and how my spirit guides, who's a very spiritual person, a true magician. And he sat with me and he said, let's dream into this incense together. He was so good at making incense. I still have a couple of his incense blends and I guard them with my life because he passed away in a house fire about 2 years after that, maybe a year and a half after that. And I never got to see him again, obviously. And I'm so grateful that his hands were on this experience, because it's one of the I feel like whenever I do elder council, I somehow can reconnect with him. I used to go into the city, into San Francisco, from where I lived in San Mateo, just to see him. His shop was called The Sword and the Rose. I think it's still open, and I think his partner runs it, but, his partner isn't him. It would be like me being gone and Dave running the shop. Like, he would do a lovely job, but he's not me, you know what I mean? So I never went back after After he died, I just held everything that I had from him and treasured it even more. But he's the one who helped me come up with the incense blend. And he insisted, and I agreed with him, that because there are 7 grandfather spirits, what they call the Apu in Peru, and he said you need something highly protective. And is it still there? It's a beautiful store, by the way. If you're ever in San Francisco, you should go. And he built it, so it's still his vision. It's you know what I mean. It's just I can't go there because it's sad because he's not there. But don't you agree, Kenneth? It's worth the trip. If you're in the city, you should go. And it's a beautiful place. There's like a little charcuterie place there and a cheese and wine shop. I mean, San Francisco is amazing. But anyway, so he insisted that there should be one ingredient in this blend to represent each of the 7 grandfathers for this really heavy-duty circle of protection around anybody who does the ceremony. And that's why I continue to make it. And what's cool about Elder Council is there's a little bit of the original blend in each new blend that we make. It kind of like continues the cycle. So that's why I tell you, even my customers who are like, Athena, I hate incense, but I still buy Elder Council because I use it for offerings, or I sometimes they'll put it in a little sachet and put it in their bath, you know what I mean? Or they find all different kinds of things to do with it. And it smells amazing too. Yeah, the shop in San Francisco is called The Sword and the Rose. Real heartbreak when he died. It was just, it's like one of those moments like, wow, true magician gone, right? And overnight like that. Okay, so that is Elder Council incense. I'm going to bust a little bit out because I just want it. And if you don't have any, I will burn a little bit for you. I think we have 37 jars of it available on sagegoddess.com, and that's all I have. Sorry. If you do decide to get it, make sure you use your 20% off code. It's summer20. Or you can just let me give you mine. We make it as often as we can. We just haven't made it in a long time. So yeah, let me tell you again the ingredients. It's sandalwood, Palo Santo, cedar. I wrote it down so I wouldn't miss any of them. White sage, white pine, eucalyptus, patchouli, myrrh, frankincense, and ceremonial tobacco. And then nothing like it. I just want that all over me everywhere. My hair. Run it through my hands. It's really good to clear the space as much as you can when you're getting ready for ceremony, and really make sure that you've cleansed all the tools, and a little bit goes a long way too. So there you go. Okay, now tonight, I don't know if we're going to be able to make the candles anymore because we don't have these jars anymore. Maybe we can make a version of it. I don't know. We haven't had that much demand for it, so if you guys want a candle, let me know. We just haven't had people really ask for it. A lot of people just work with the incense and they're happy, or just with the perfume and they're happy. So anyway, if you ever do want a candle, just let me know, and I'll try to make some before the next Elder Council, which is 3 months from now. We do this once a quarter. We do have an Elder Council mist. We made it into a room spray too. I don't know if we have that in stock either. I feel really, my little Hummer, I feel bad always saying that to you guys, but I can't tell you enough how hard it has been trying to get oils during a pandemic, because the distilleries all closed for a year. And then because the distilleries closed, the wild harvesting of the herbs and flowers in so many of these countries completely stopped. And one person who owned the one distillery that I used to go to, that was a COVID situation. Like, it just, getting oils is impossible. I'm starting to be able to get them now. So I'm hoping like by anniversary time it'll be a little bit better, but holy smokes. So, okay. So, Alexis and I will bubble that up and we'll see what we can do for a candle for next time in a few months. That gives me a few months to get things together. Yeah, Boom Shiva's really good too. Can't go wrong with a boom. So for tonight, I always let my spirit guides choose what we do in these meditations, and I'm going to tell you what we're doing now. So, and it's usually connected to like where I am energetically. It's really interesting. So when my spirit guides were like, this is what we're doing for Elder Council and meditation yesterday, and then this morning again, because I wait until the day of, like, okay, so what are we doing? And it's like, we're working with the mother. This started coming to me yesterday afternoon. I'm really feeling this this deep, deep desire for mothering, for nurturing, for myself. And I'm at an age now where that isn't possible. That's not available to me anymore. My mom is alive, but she's not in good health, and she's not. She's not in a state where she can give that to me, if that makes sense. So I'm really at an age now where I recognize that if I'm going to find this, right, it will need to come from me, and it will need that, and then from my spirit guides to me, from my higher self to me, from my ancestors to me, right? And so, and a lot of you are probably at that point too. Maybe you've lost your mom, or maybe you, you're like me and your mom is still alive, but not able to give you this kind of connection, right? I love you, Sharon. So I've been in that place of just wanting that, and I think it's because I'm also at the age where I realize I am that for a lot of people, and not just my kids, but I try to be something of a surrogate mother in my community. I mean, in a functional way, right? I'm not trying to be your dysfunctional mom, but I do try to be motherly and offer unconditional love to people, and get excited for you when you succeed, and like all the things that a good mom does, right? But I'm finding that because I don't have that, sometimes I feel like I do need something to fill that chalice so that I continue to have something to pour out. Does that make sense? So, yeah, and I feel like I'm mothering my mom in a way too. And, I feel like I'm mothering my family in a lot of ways too. So I say that to you because that's where I've kind of been energetically. And so when my spirit guides were like, we're gonna return to the Divine Mother for this meditation, and then the next Elder Council, which is going to be July, August, September, is going to be the return to the Father. And then in October, November, December, we're going to do more of a union focus. So I feel like I have a little bit of a glimpse into what this one, the next one, and then the one after that will be. And I think it's good to be honest and say, because people act like they just constantly have stuff to pour out and they don't have any needs. And one of the things I'm very careful of in my life is not to expect things from people who can't give it to me. I actually think it's the reason I'm happy. Because if you expect things from people who can't give it to you, what happens? I mean, you're just frustrated, resentful, tired, angry, So I never expect anything from people that they don't have to give me. I just don't even look for it. So, and your partner's not going to mother you. That's dysfunctional. Your kids can't mother you. That's dysfunctional. Your friends are not there to mother you. They can be very nurturing and kind, but again, that's not their job, so that's dysfunctional. So but what can mother you? What can be functional, right? What can be beautiful? What can be fruitful is spiritual nurturing, and it's very real, right? It's very, very real. And when I lean into that river of love that I know holds me and sustains me, or when I work with ayahuasca, which is very maternal, and that's why I have worked with her so many times, it feels like this bigger mother coming and just taking me, and it's like I don't have to be strong, I don't have to be smart, I don't have to be, my mom eyes all over my head, constantly aware of everything. I can just relax, right, and soften and just surrender in, right? And that's tonight what I want to give you. So Jamie's asking the perfect question for my segue, so thank you, Jamie. It's almost like I teed this up with you. Jamie and I did not talk in advance. I want to talk to you about what the Mother Goddess means to me, and that's why I'm wearing this. I forgot to bring my paper up. Hold on. Let me see if the kids can bring it to me. I wanted to read this poem to you. Let me just ask them. Can one of you bring the poem from the printer up to my crystal room, please? Thank you. It's actually a little snippet from the Rig Veda. which is one of the oldest spiritual texts on the planet, and it's about the mother goddess. So I'm hoping the kids will grab it. I sent it to the printer this morning, and then I completely forgot to go to the printer and grab it. But in the meantime, I'll teach you everything else, and then hopefully they'll bring it up to us. While I'm teaching you this, I want you to practice a mudra with me, okay? A mudra is an activation of the chakras and energy lines in your hands by way of putting your fingers together. I taught you all about mudras in Crystal Masters 2020 first session, I think. Do you remember? So you want to do a mudra with me? So the Gyan mudra, Gyan mudra, is for wisdom, but it's also for comfort, and it's for knowledge. And it's for knowledge of your power, right? Are you really? Carolyn's doing ayahuasca this weekend? Have you been on dieta? I get so cranky on dieta. Okay, so this is the mudra. Now you can, some traditions tell you to take the index finger and push it down your thumb. It's hard to do because I have thumb rings like this. And that the deeper the contact with your thumb, the deeper the wisdom line that you cultivate. But I just do it this way. So while I'm talking to you and teaching this to you, I would love for you to hold this mudra. Whenever you feel like you need insight and you're looking for guidance and direction, I want you to train yourself to sit quietly and hold the mudra. Because it's amazing, and sometimes I find myself just like tapping my fingers, you know, like even while I'm listening, or if I'm watching something, or I'm watching something on YouTube, or I'm watching something on, you know, a documentary, like I'll find myself kind of doing this. It's almost like a summoning, right? So it's Gyan, Gyan mudra, so you can read about that too later if you want. Okay. The reason I'm wearing this necklace is because this is the symbol of Shakti. Okay, this symbol is called the Khanda, Khanda. And I've never really taught the symbol before. We've talked about it, but I haven't really taught it before. So I want to take a second to show you the necklace. Hopefully they got my text. I really wanted to read that poem. If they don't bring it up, I'll post it in our Facebook group after our session tonight, because I really would like you to read it. It's quite beautiful. So this is the Kundra. This is the symbol of the Adi Shakti. Now there's three components to this, and this is what I want to share with you tonight. The circle behind, there's like a sword. Do you see it? Like a double terminated sword down the center, right there, the gold. That sword represents enlightenment, wisdom, the ability to cut through illusion. The circle behind it represents the chakra, right? Chakra in Sanskrit means wheel. So this is like the wheel of your energy, the sword of enlightenment and wisdom. And then there are two, on either side, there are two curved swords. Do you see them here and here? Boop, boop. Those two swords, did I teach it in Gemwise? I don't remember teaching the exact makeup. Maybe I did. I've been doing this forever, and I'm going through menopause. So you know what? Who knows? I probably did. But let me teach it again, because a lot of people weren't there. The two curved swords going up represent duality, right? Yin, yang, masculine, feminine, in, out, light, shadow, yes, no, all the dualities. And what this symbol represents is the concept that all of those dualities are held in the energy of the one, right? The primal force of creation created both. Sometimes, sometimes I'm in a little bit of a state of disagreement with people on what I'm about to tell you. And it's important for us to think about this going into the meditation tonight, because it's not that I think that feminine energy is more powerful than masculine energy, because I don't. I don't think anything in the universe is more powerful than any other thing. I think there's always a divine balance. But we always must remember that the feminine creates both the feminine and the masculine, right? The mother gives birth to her sons and her daughters. And so there is in my cosmology, in my training, which is based in many ways on the Vedas and goes back to that tradition, the feminine is the force of creation, right? All comes from the mother. But here's what's interesting, and this is why, sometimes it sounds like I'm privileging the feminine, and I'm really not, because in the Vedas, and which is where yoga comes from, the chakra system, everything comes from those original Hindu texts. The Vedas are very clear that there is no masculine, feminine, male, female. There is no. That creation itself is both. Woman is both. Man is both. We are all both. And these days we're more careful to say he, she, and they, because some people identify in a more fluid way and they don't want to use the pronoun he or she. They want to use they or them, right? But in so many ways, I actually think that's the most accurate thing. I think the universe is they, them. The universe does not privilege masculine or feminine energy. Does that make sense? So Adi Shakti is the feminine force of creation, partner energy to Shiva, right, which is the male principle of creation. But Shiva and Shakti are both male and female. Both of them are, right? So the all creates, right? So the all creates the all. And I love the idea that maybe we're all they, them. Maybe we all need to look at pronouns and think about the fact that he and she and him and her are very, very limited in their scope of the ability to explain anything, right? The universe is they, them. So when I think of Shakti and when I wear this, the energy I'm connecting to is what I would call the primal womb, right? You came from a womb, right? And in many ways you return to a womb, because the all that you return to when this life is over holds the all. Right, you go back to the absolute point of creation, right? You become part of the matrix of creation again. I also meant to tell you too that this mudra calms the central nervous system, and it helps to tone the vagus nerve when you push here. And some people say the vagus nerve is more stimulated when you push down again to that middle of your thumb, but this will also help to calm you down if you're having any kind of panic or anxiety. Adi in Sanskrit means beginning, right? And Shakti is the force of creation. So that's why we say Adi Shakti is the first force of creation. So now the idea of the mother in Hindu tradition, which is what I'm focusing on with you tonight. And somebody asked, so who do you think of as the mother goddess? In the Hindu tradition, all of the mother goddesses, what they call the Mata Devi, right? Devi means goddess, Mata means mother. So all of the Mata Devi, which includes Lakshmi, Parvati, Durga, Sarasvati, Radha, and Kali, all of those are faces of Shakti. Does that make sense? And so when I think of who my mother is, that's the reason I have that big painting of Shakti on the wall in this room as you walk in. When I think of my mother, the mother that brings me comfort, I think of Shakti. I think of resting in the arms of the one who made all of the rest, right? And so that's who I'm working with tonight. My goal tonight is to connect with Shakti energy, with that primal force of all creation. And what I'm looking for tonight is to rest in that, right? She made Durga, she made Kali, she made Parvati, she made Sarasvati, she made Lakshmi, right? She is all of them and yet none of them. She's the union of them and yet can also have none of the qualities of any of them. And I love the idea of that too, because I'll tell you, as a mother, that idea has saved me. I came from a family, a lot of you probably did too, where a lot of my parents were very involved in my life, and a lot of their identity came from the things that I was doing. And I made a decision when I had kids, I kind of wanted to keep my identity separate from my kids, because I didn't want them to feel pressured to succeed or do anything to try and please me. You know what I mean? And so I've always really felt like I am my kids, and yet I'm not my kids. And my kids are me, but they don't have to be me. They can be completely separate from me. and yet I can love them, I can hold them, I can support them, right? She made Durga too. So, so that's how I see a good mother. A good mother creates, but does not have any attachment to the outcome of her creation, right? I will always love my kids, no matter who they become or what they do, and they don't have to earn that love. That love is just present for them. So in that love, they can rest and bathe there and just be comforted there, and they don't have to work for it, earn it. You know, it's just but they also don't have to identify with me in any particular way. Does that make sense? Yeah, Mata, M-A-T-A, Janine, you're very close. Mata Devi. Mata is the primary word for mother in Sanskrit. So, and part of it's about boundaries too, right? Like, I'm not just a mother, right? I'm a teacher, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a sister. I'm not just a mother. And so I don't want my identity just to be bound up in that. And I think the Divine Mother reminds us of that. We are this physical incarnation, and yet we're not this physical incarnation. When we close our eyes, when this life is done, we will probably not often think of this life again, right? Except to integrate the lessons from it. So I think it's like, what is that line? And yet at the same time, I want to be affectionate and I want my kids to know I'm there for them, but then, you know, I want that little bit of like, I'm not them, they're not me kind of thing. So hopefully that resonates with you. Now, for tonight, I want you to think for yourself right now, where in your life do you need that all-enveloping, all-nurturing, all-knowing, all-loving, but not overbearing, right? Just completely present. Where do you need that in your life? Is it, maybe you need it everywhere in your life. Maybe you need it when it comes to your work life. Maybe you don't feel supported at work. Maybe you don't feel supported in your relationship. Maybe you feel kind of wrung out and twisted dry, and you just feel like, oh, I need that in my body, right? I need to feel that love in my physical body. Maybe you're thinking, you know, I want to bring that energy into my home. You know, I want to figure out what that vibration feels like, and then I want to try to create that in my home, so that there's that sense of that all connecting, all knowing, all loving energy. So I want you to think, because we're going to recite Adi Shakti together 108 times. I want you to focus on that for a minute. Where do you need to bring this energy in? How will it shift or transform your perspective? And especially knowing that this is probably the most accurate, you know, when we connect to this energy stream, this is the most functional, accurate energy of mothering that we can connect to. Because it's not dysfunctional, it's not limited, right? It's not contingent upon you earning anything or proving yourself or being a good kid or any of those things, right? It's just you deserve it by virtue of being alive, right? Yeah, and so if you're not feeling supported, and I have been there too. I mean, I feel mostly supported, but I feel I'm not even sure how I would describe how I feel with regard to my need for this. It's probably good for me to articulate it. I think I did my best to articulate it earlier. I feel like I provide this, but it's hard for me to find it, and especially as I come to this transition where my mother can't, not because she doesn't want to, but she just physically can't, and, you know, emotionally, spiritually, mentally can't provide that kind of support anymore, right? Yeah, light your Pachamama candle. I love it. I'm going to light my candle too, my Elder Council candle. And I'm going to light my gold candle too. Because gold carries the energy of our alchemical work together. So I like the fact that I've kind of got both of those going. And let's start calling that energy in with this mantra. I think it'll really infuse our journey tonight with additional energy that I'm excited about. Yeah. And my goal for you tonight is for you to feel lubricated. I'm not kidding. I want you to feel, you know that feeling, have you ever had a massage before? I haven't had one in 2 years, but I'm really hoping my day is coming soon. Have you ever had a massage and you're just laying on that table afterward, and it's like, you just feel like lubricated, like your muscles are soft and your skin has absorbed all the oil or whatever the therapist was using, and it smells beautiful, and you just feel like you've been loved, right? Somebody has poured their energy through their hands into you. That's kind of how I want you to feel tonight, like it's a virtual massage. That's at least my intention for what we're going to feel tonight. Yay! Oh, I see you. I see you, Core Madrid. I see you. I know. I do. I want you to be lubricated. Don't take that to a naughty place, unless you want to. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, you ready? So, focus your thoughts. Remember, if you're right-handed, we're always going to start to the left of the Guru bead, which is right here. And we're going to repeat Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, A-D-I, Shakti, 108 times. You ready? If you don't have a mala, just hold your mudra, okay? That I taught you, the Gyan mudra. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, first force of creation. Adi Shakti, 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 Shakti, Adi 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 Shakti. Shanti, 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 That raised an energy, didn't it? Did you feel that? A little bit of a Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti. Makes you want to drum, doesn't it? Aho. That felt good to me too. Very, very, very good. Okay. So now that we've connected through the mantra, right, through the energy, through her, through that force of creation, and again, I don't even think of Shakti as her. They. You've connected with them, right? Did you feel it? Well, Avery, that's energy just pouring through, right? So now that we've connected with them tonight in a beautiful way, I think I feel like my eyes have even like kind of like, It's, mantra's no joke, I will tell you. And Sanskrit is a living language. It's alive, it's vibrational. I can't encourage you enough to work with your mala every single day, even if you just say Shanti, 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 Om, 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 Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti. Yeah, I can't encourage you enough to work with a mala, no matter where you get them. There's people in our group who make malas. We have malas at Sage Goddess. You can find them on Etsy. You know, there's malas all around, but you should have at least one in your collection and really work with mantra. It's so important because there's a vibration to that language that isn't found in English or any other language on the planet. Super powerful. Yeah. Oh, I love that. It plays on the reflexology of the tongue. Oh, I like that. You do Kritajna every night before bed. It's beautiful. Yeah, we need a mala making class, except I'm a slow ass mala maker. It takes me like 2 hours to make a mala. And I don't think you want to sit here for 2 hours and watch me not. and not. And not. And not. And not. I mean, maybe you do, but every time I think about it, I kind of have a second thought. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. I think that's it. Okay. So, without much further ado, yeah, one of you teach it. You do it. I think that would be great. I don't have to teach everything. You can do it. You can do it, put your back into it. I don't always love being the teacher. That's why I take classes with people, because sometimes I just want to be a student. And you would laugh. When I take classes, I am silent. When, sometimes my teachers will point to me and go, well, Athena, what do you think? Would you like to share? And I'm always like, nope, I'm good. I'm here to learn. I'm here to be a student. I am not here to teach. It's true. So maybe one of you can do it, and that'll make me really happy. Are you ready? Are you ready? So let's start by getting our circle open and calling in all of the energies that we want to be present with us tonight. I'm trying to think if there's any crystals I want to bring in. I didn't really think about it too much before, but I kind of feel like my necklace is enough. Yeah, I think my necklace is enough. And I'm always charging my jewelry because I never take any of this stuff off. So everything just gets charged again and again and again. But if you do have something that you want to keep with you, now would be a good time to go and get that. You're always ready. Yeah, so if you do want to have something, or if you want to charge your jewelry, make sure you're wearing it, that you're comfortable. Yeah, we did have a mala in Crystal Masters, so if you're in Crystal Masters, we had that from a few months ago. That's a good one too. Okay, now I want to encourage you to start to drop in and if you want, you can just take your leave of the feed. You know what I mean? You can continue to comment and engage with each other, but I also want to give you the freedom and the latitude that if you just want this to be your time to lay down, relax, enjoy, not be present to the feed, not be, I love it when you guys support each other, but I also want to make sure you have your experience too. So I want to encourage you to just relax, let go, be here now. Tonight's going to be a little bit gentler. Right? The subtlety of the feminine doesn't have to be loud to make her point. Right? See you afterward. Yeah, this drum was a gift from last year's Soul Shift. Hold on, I'm going to take my rings off because I'm hearing my rings, and I'm going to be drumming for a few minutes, and I don't want to bother you with the noise, so bear with me for a second. But yeah, last year's graduating class of Soul Shift gifted me this drum. They had this drum made for me with all of my Angela Foe symbols on it that we activated last year. That's my favorite drum that I've ever had. Nothing sounds like this. Begin by asking all of our guides ancestors, all of the spirit guides from all dimensions, light beings, master teachers, ascended masters who are present to us now. I want to invite them all in. We welcome you from near and far, from the world beneath our feet. We invite you in from this middle world. We welcome you from the world above our heads, the worlds and the stars, from across this cosmos and all cosmos, four corners of this vast universe, and the universes within universes and the multiverse, all constellations, all star systems accounted for. We give thanks to those spirits, those energies who want to be here with us tonight to guide our journey. Tonight we feel ourselves in the long line of an ancestry that is thousands of years old. Our mothers, our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, generation after generation after generation. And the generations that will come after us, all the future generations for whom we are ancestor. I want to welcome in guides, the guardians of the Eastern Gateway, the guardians of the Eastern winds, the element of air. Help us breathe through this experience tonight. We took our first breath after we left our mother's body, the beginning of the separation from the mother. Tonight we find our way back. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of air. And tonight to the guides and the guardians of the south, fire element, we welcome you in. Reconnect us with that dancing fire goddess inside of each of us. The fire of the mother that burns, the fire of creation, the giving of life. What do you give life to? Life comes in many forms. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the south to tend the fire within tonight. The Adi Shakti, the Kundalini. It's all available here. To the guides and the guardians of the west, element of water. This is the direction of the mother. Gentle nurturing, comfort, renewal, healing, cleansing and purification of our tears. That's right. Knowing that we're mothered in so many ways. The planet itself is mothering you. Yeah. We welcome in the guides, the guardians of the west. Rinse us clean tonight, purify us, renew us from within. Wrap us in your embrace. To the guides and the guardians focus the direction of the grandfather, the father, also the big, slow-moving animal allies, buffalo, elk. We welcome in energies of earth tonight to stabilize us, protect and ground us, remind us to slow down, not to rush, everything in perfect time, nothing to do, nowhere to go, just here now, teaching us the beauty of this present moment, teaching us forgiveness. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the north with gratitude tonight. To the guides and the guardians of the upper realm, dimensions above the fifth, includes the angelic gateways, the Akashic field. We welcome you in for higher wisdom. We ask that you open the pineal gland, decalcify, cleanse, clear the screen. Help us to see, feel, sense, know, touch, taste, smell, activating all of our spirit senses. We welcome you in. And to the guides and the guardians of the middle world, the Kaipacha, here now moment, our community, your spirit guides. Thank you for expanding this circle, helping us to feel connected across space and time. Welcome in the energies of the here now moment. And to the guides and the guardians of the lower realm, world beneath our feet, this planet, ley lines, vortex points and places, to the bone and mineral kingdoms, crystal caves and caverns, plugging into that deep vibration, that resonance, feeling that higher frequency, receiving those energies, feeling them fuel our circle and our ceremony tonight. We welcome you in with gratitude. Welcome from the east, welcome from the south, welcome from the west, welcome from the north, welcome from above, welcome from around, welcome from below. There's a lot to welcome in. So wherever you are, stay there, stay warm, stay cozy, stay in your cocoon, as we begin this journey together tonight. And so I want you to imagine that deep within this beautiful planet that we inhabit together is her own womb. It's Gaia's womb. And I want you to imagine that this womb space is real, it exists, it vibrates within the core of the planet that you and I share together. And for me, this is a place where I feel like I can visit, I can go in my dream time, I can return when I need to. And as we travel down into this place, this sanctuary within the earth, I want you to begin to feel like this is something of a second home to you. Because this primal womb, this inner sanctum of our planet, the way I experience it, is a holding place for energy. It's the most powerful container in my experience. And in this place, There is no danger, there is no harm, there is no interference of outside thoughts or influences. It's almost like the innermost space of energy that you can possibly imagine. And it creates this perfect melting pot, if you will, for all of your energy and all of your emotions and all of your needs and all of your desires and also all of your fears and your anxieties, for all of it to be there and to be alchemized into something new. It's this warm cocoon womb place where literally anything that you take in can be alchemized into a higher form. And so tonight, as we venture toward Gaia's womb, I want you to imagine an entry place for this portal that we're entering tonight together. And you can begin this process by imagining that you'll enter through a tree and go down through the trunk. That might be the place that feels safest and most comfortable to you. You can imagine entering this womb of the earth through one of the crystal caves or caverns that you might enter. You can imagine entering this womb of this planet through a portal in the ocean or a river or a lake near you that feels safe and beautiful to you. And you can even imagine just allowing yourself to sort of melt from the place you are down through the floor and to literally form almost your own liquid lava and become part of that fire flow that melts down into the center of the earth. So your element may guide you. You may feel yourself guided by the element of air to sort of float down to the center of the earth, or become one with the water, or dissolve into hot lava flowing fire, or maybe you just simply become part of one of the trees in the forests. But I want you to take a moment now to find your entry point into the earth. And spirit guides, I ask that you guide each person tonight to find their way in to this beautiful space. And where will it be for you? What will it look like for you? For me, I'm being guided to the trees tonight. I'm feeling myself guided to the middle of the most beautiful forest. Maybe you're feeling guided there too. And as I gaze out among all of these trees in the middle of this beautiful forest, I'm noticing one tree off in the distance that has a beautiful, almost like a doorway in it, almost carved into the bark of the tree. It looks like there's a beautiful doorway. And so as I approach that doorway, I see that it goes deep into the tree. It almost looks like a hallway or a passageway into that tree. So I start to follow that passageway in. And I feel so welcomed and encouraged to take this road, to take this new pathway down and into this beautiful tree. And I notice that the pathway starts to wind around and then down like a spiral staircase that's hidden within this big, beautiful tree. And so I continue my walk inside, and I find myself winding around and down, and winding around and down. And there's light coming from different places in different directions. And inside this tree, there's beautiful moss growing, and as I gaze down, I can see little pebbles and stones along my path. It feels like I'm in this enchanted, beautiful space that was intended for me to find. And there's a sense here of anticipation, like my presence has been awaited. And so continuing to walk this path and sensing that this is a special connection that is awaiting me. I'm feeling anticipation and excitement to see what's ahead, but trying not to rush, taking my time, the steps. And winding down and down and down and down. And as I wind just a little bit further down, I notice that there's an opening. And I see that all of a sudden the space just widens. And I'm still within this incredible cave or cavern, but now it's much wider and open and expansive. I can see above me and below me and to the left and to the right, as if there's no end. And it's illuminated inside almost like by candlelight. And I can see that there's images, art maybe on the walls. Looks like paintings. Almost looks like a painting of water on the wall. It's like flowing lines that are carved or etched as I go. And as I walk, it feels like the lines are moving with me, like I'm part of this living picture that's unfolding. And as I wind down this hallway, I can hear activity and movement and voices and even a little music. And this feels like a good place to be. And so as you enter this space with me, you're also coming into your intended gathering. And I want you to sense now that the activity that you hear, the connections that you're sensing in this space, these are all energies and beings that have come here just to be present for you tonight. The ancestors, the spirit guides, the ascended masters who have felt summoned by you at this time to guide you on this part of your journey have all gathered here just to be with you. And they've gathered you here in the center of our beautiful planet, beneath the level of noise, beneath the level of chaos, beneath the level of human existence, to this more magical place where none of the worries or concerns or fears or anxieties can touch you. This is your primal womb. And they've brought you here to nourish and to nurture you, to reconnect you with a sense of unconditional, loving presence that isn't rooted in anything you do. It's not rooted in who you are or what you have or don't have. It's simply rooted in your very being. And these are energies and presences that have known you for thousands of years and have missed you, have missed having such a direct connection with you. They come to you in your dreams, and sometimes you feel them on the wind, but you don't have their undivided attention, and they don't have yours most of the time. So as you move forward into the space, I want you to notice that there is something of a seating area. Mine looks like a very low table, and I'm noticing that everyone who's gathered here is seated around. Looks like they're sitting on the floor. Some are standing, some are kneeling on their knees. Some are seated in more of a lotus position. I'm also sensing some beings maybe laying down sort of around the perimeter, like they're holding the space. And off to my side, I see a jaguar moving back and forth. Just sort of pacing, noticing, moving back and forth. So I want you to take a moment for yourself and notice what your gathering looks like. Are they seated? Are they simply just present? Maybe you can't see physicality, but maybe you sense the energies. You feel the warmth of this place. Notice the temperature. Notice the way you feel as you begin to experience and explore it. There's a familiarity here, and a sense of not needing to be anything or do anything. It's just simply a pure presence experience, that these beings know something of you that is not tied to your humanity. They've known you in many forms across many, many, many millennia. And so take a moment here to greet this collective that has found you in this sacred place. I always like to say thank you first. Thank you to all who have gathered for each of us tonight to be present to us in this experience. And these are all guides and ancestors and spirit beings who are here to provide nurturing to you, to remind you of the energy of the Divine Mother. And they may look like many things: animal allies, ancestors, either male or female from your line. Each one of them holds an essence of divine and unconditional love for you. And take a moment to just observe what you're seeing, what you're sensing, what you're feeling. And I want you to allow yourself to become even more comfortable, even more connected, even more in tune with the energies of this collective. I like to take a moment just to sort of bow to each energy I feel in the space, just to acknowledge and say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And now I want you to return in your mind to your central question for tonight. What was the question that brought you to this experience with me today? And I'm going to sit with my own question as well. So Great Spirit, ancestors, spirit guides, light beings from all dimensions, we've come to you this evening with these questions on our heart. Each person with their own desire, their own need, their own quest for insight. We ask that you see us this evening and that you bless us with wisdom, discernment, understanding, clarity, confidence, truth, but most of all with love and support. A lot of us come tonight with open hands and an open heart, in need of something soft and a tender place to rest. And so we come to you tonight with that open-hearted request to be held, to be seen, to be witnessed, to be appreciated. We ask you to fill our cups tonight, to remind us of our gifts, maybe we've forgotten, to remind us of our power, maybe we've surrendered, to remind us of our joy that maybe feels like it's transformed to sadness, to remind us of our purpose, which may have become lost in our quest for achievement, trying to please other people. And so I want you to ask each of these presences that's come forward for you tonight, I want you to ask each of them your question. And while I drum, I want you to listen to their answers for you. And remember, their answers may come in an image or a symbol. It may come in a smell or a sound. It may come in a song. It may come in just a knowing or a feeling that just consumes your whole body for a minute. Sometimes the wisdom is so simple, isn't it? Just need a reminder. Open your energy field, open your chakras, let them in. Yeah. We spend so much time boundaried up, sealed up, closed off, tuned out. Not tonight. Be soft, be can't screw this up. And there's a lot of unconditional love here for you. All they ask is for your attention. Let them remind you where you came from, who you used to be. Let them open you, soften you, relax you. For some of you, I sense that they're surrounding you, coming to you. Maybe they're pouring from their chalice waters of blessings over you. I see them reaching out, touching your hands, placing robes over your shoulders. Some of them reminding you, you're a medicine person, remember? You're a queen, remember? You're a creator, you're an artist, you're a visionary, remember? You're divine, remember? You're gifted, remember? See if you can access some of those past life memories in this softer space. Where were you? Who were you? What do you need to remember about who you were and where you were in order to reclaim your power, manifest your soul's gifts, feel held and supported. Let them speak the words yourself just enveloped. Some of you, I feel like they've put blankets over you, or like sheepskin rugs around your shoulders, and just feeling the love that's coming from all of them to you tonight. The pride, the gratitude they have for you, for your strength and your willingness to show up and do your work, which not everybody does, you know? It's really true. And if there's any remaining conversations that you need to have, questions you need to ask, now is the time to do that. And now I want you to take a moment to express your gratitude to everybody who's come tonight for you. Take a moment just to say thank you. It is a gift, in my opinion, when they come, but they will always come when you call them, especially when you're in need. They'll come. And sometimes it's different who comes. So tonight, tonight is a gift from those who decided to come and be with you in this place. And feel their reminder tonight that this is not a place that you can only come once every 3 months. You can come here anytime. This place is always open to you. Yeah. And when you're here, I hope you can feel it. I hope you feel right now the distance you have from your worries and your fears and the things that are cluttering your mind. They feel a little bit distant right now, don't they? And that's good. Create some space so that when you come back to your waking state of being, you have different perspective. Because when you're in this place with infinite beings, a lot of those things fall away. Their importance is minimized, you know? You realize how big this universe is, and how expansive you are and have always been and will always be. And so you're not your problems, you're not this life, you're not your circumstances. This is one part of your eternity. And you get a chance in this moment to really experience that massiveness that you are. And it'll be a good reminder to you when you feel small. So good. Yeah, it's interesting. I can feel a lot of them around you touching more tonight than I've noticed in previous years. There's a desire to sort of be near you, and I see with hands around you, maybe not even touching you, but hands around you. And it feels like they're very intentional about where they're putting the energy. So just receive. And then when you're ready, and this is always the hardest part, it's time to say goodbye to them for now. Knowing that you can come back anytime. But I like to take one more time around the circle just to say thank you. as you rise to begin your journey back to the here now moment, give them permission also to take their leave of this beautiful space. Some of them just seem to disappear, don't they? Some of them turn and walk away. They float right through the walls and the doors and back to their multiple dimensions of existence. But they're always with you. And as you feel yourself turn and begin your long walk back, noticing differences now. The things that were bothering you an hour or two ago, maybe you feel a little bit muffled. Your attention is in a different direction now, maybe with a little more clarity and hopefully more peace. And as you start to notice now, you can see the walls again, right, as we're making our way through and out and back. Noticing I'm seeing the carvings on the walls again. And again, they seem to be moving with me as I walk down this long corridor. As I begin the winding pathway up. Keeping your rhythm as you go, starting to notice the floor as you're walking, and the pebbles and stones, and the texture. Maybe mine is sand, it's sort of a sandy path up through that trunk of that tree. The winding gets tighter and tighter and tighter as I go. And then just ahead of me I can see daylight. The return. It's always bittersweet. There's always part of me that doesn't want to come back. That's why we do it again. And they're always there. I always want to stay. It's hard. But it's good. It shows you it's real. And so when you're ready, cross that threshold from the tree, the water, the lava that you came in on. Cross that threshold. And come back. Come back. Come back. Be here with me now. In this moment. Which is beautiful too. In its own human ways, right? Woo! This is beautiful too. It's just different. Woo! You asked that they stayed to visit you in your dreams. I love that so much. And we give thanks for that support and that love and that. It almost felt like a putting back together what I was seeing among you guys, because I have the ability to do this and see my own journey and also be kind of witness to what's happening in the collective. And it literally, for some of you, I love you guys too, for some of you it felt like they were like putting you back together, like taking some things out and putting other things in and like kind of reforming you. It was a very interesting experience to witness you guys tonight too. I love that. I love that your mom decided to stay a little longer. And Sherelle asked a beautiful question. I wonder if a little part of us stays. I think so. you know, when you have these experiences, it changes your life a little bit because it reminds you, like, even if I'm in a stressful meeting or my kids are fighting or, you know, whatever, I burned dinner or I don't know, even in those really stressful moments, I can get there, you know what I mean? I can run to my tree or I can dive in my river, and I remember that there is a place and a space, and it creates just a little bit of a buffer for me, you know what I mean? It doesn't fix everything, but it gives me a perspective that I didn't have before I started doing this work. I just couldn't, I would get so worked up about something, and I just had, you know, I had nowhere to go. And what a lot of people do is they numb out, right? They're like, well, I'll eat or I'll drink or I'll shop or I'll smoke or whatever. But if you can learn to create that buffer energetically by a deeper understanding of your relationship to the natural world and the spirit world, it's like a built-in tool that you have. And part of what I really wanted you to experience now too is you can do this with no tools, right? I mean, you can have all the crystals around you, but the only tool you needed for this journey was you know? And so this is something you can do in your car, at the office, in the doctor's office, like wherever it is, right? This space always exists for you. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Penelope's mom came to her and she looked so beautiful. Isn't that amazing? No, I'm Reed, that's beautiful. Cynthia felt Osiris energy. Sure. Right? I mean, you know, Osiris is very much like Middle Earth, right? Or Central Earth. I feel that Osiris is sort of that subterranean energy too, so that makes sense to me. Oh yeah. Woo! Miss Jade said, I felt I was more focusing on what I was asking, not sure I saw a hummingbird in a flower, not sure what that means. Well, hummingbird is very significant. Hummingbird means there's good news on the way, right? Hummingbirds are always harbingers of blessings. And I promise you that, and this, because this is how this works, and I love sharing this, because some of you are very experienced, some of you are new to this kind of work, and you know, I'm here for both, right? Spirit is very smart, right? So even when you feel like, oh, I was too focused on the question, or I wasn't relaxed enough, or some people go, oh, I fell asleep, I didn't have an experience. I promise you, you had an experience. And they can bypass that monkey mind, or the I'm focused on my question, or I fell asleep, or they can bypass all of that. Because there's multiple aspects to you, right? There's multiple layers to your consciousness. So there's your conscious awareness of like, I'm focused on my question. And while you're doing that, they're over here working on your subconscious. Does that make sense? So you might have a dream tonight where it's like it all comes together, or all of a sudden starting tomorrow there are hummingbirds around you all the time, or you know what I mean? Like it'll be very interesting to you to see how it plays out. But we all have the experience, even if we think we were too consciously focused on something else, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a woman, it was eons ago, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, but I remember her saying, I was so focused on what I was going to cook for dinner afterward, I didn't really have an experience. And then she wrote in later and said, I went and cooked dinner, and I looked down as I was cooking, and it was in the pot, she saw the animal, the face of the animal that came to her in Elder Council. And she was like, they were like joking with her. They were, do you see, like they're messing with her. Like, yeah, you're so focused on your meal, but guess what's in your pot? The exact, you know, animal spirit ally that you just saw in your Elder Council journey. So it's like, go ahead and focus on your dinner. We're still going to show up there. You know what I mean? So you can't do it wrong. I love that. The little girl I was not allowed to be is working on how to be one, says Karen. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Rebette said, this was a pure cocooning of my soul. I was so enveloped in peace, love, and a warm silence that was beautiful. I love that too. Angelia was dancing with others near a fire. I'm into that. Oh, Jennifer, I see you. I'm so happy that you were able to be here and have the experience too. Isn't that amazing? I I love that. Thank you, Ariana. I'm reading all of your comments. And I want to encourage you, Alexis, and I love it when you continue to share your elder council experiences in our Facebook group, especially if you have questions like, hey, this came up, I don't know what this means. I'll be in there tomorrow. She'll be in there tomorrow. We're so happy to answer your questions. And I mean, not that we know everything, but we can give you some guidance and some perspective if you saw something or didn't see something, or hey, what do you think that was? Because I love reading about your experiences. This is one of the most important things that I do all year with you. And I enjoyed my experience too. I had an unexpected visitor there, related to something I saw online about 2 hours before we started our journey. Yeah. I was reading about a friend of mine who got promoted into this position that he had wanted for a really long time. And I just randomly saw it online. And I literally, this was 2 hours before Elder Council today, around 2 o'clock, I said out loud, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for my friend, right? And his father is deceased. And I swear, as I was scanning the table, I looked and it was his father. And his father said, I'm proud of him too. It was pretty meaningful. I don't know why he was there. Yeah, kind of neat, right? The universe is such a magical, mysterious place, isn't it? Ooh. I don't think pain medicine blocks your spirit guides. Not in my experience. Depends. I mean, I'm familiar with most pain medicines just because of clients and family members, and I don't think it blocks them. Yeah. Pretty neat, right? Well, you know, you never know who's going to show up in Elder Council, and it's pretty cool. So let's release our guides and guardians. I don't want to leave them hanging. I was going to pull cards for you, but this 2 hours went by so fast. So I will, how do I want to do that? Tomorrow's Yasmina, so I can't do cards. And then Friday is an all-day thing with the team. I'll use this deck for our readings for next Wednesday, because Spirit wanted me to read from this deck for you, to pull cards for you. So I will, Alexis, help me remember that I'm going to use the Secret Garden deck for next Wednesday. And I'll just set the intention to plug back into this vibration and frequency then, yeah, to bring the messages forward. Yeah, I'll do a collective card. Why don't we do that? Brilliant Ariana Johnson. You ready? Before we close the circle, release the guides. A card for the collective, soul shift, soul shift, soul shift. Everybody who's here tonight, from Elder Council, Elder Council, Elder Council, in connection with the Divine Mother, Divine Mother, Divine Mother. What is your message for us, for all of us tonight? I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's just like, of course this is the message. And look at the sub-line. And remember what I talked about with time. If you're just listening and not watching, which some people listen and they don't watch, be present, it says. Use the hours, don't count them. Be present. Be present. Sounds like a dare, doesn't it? I dare you to be present. Use your hours instead of counting them. Oh, Madrecita, thank you for that guidance tonight. I'm going to leave this lit because I'm coming back in here to meditate tonight, and I want to stay connected. I want that candle to be like a time link. When I continue my work, sometimes I leave a candle lit because the energy doesn't fully, I mean, I release the guides and guardians, but the energy's still here. I love this deck. I bought this deck for Zoe too. She has her own deck. It's called The Secret Garden by Jessica Lee. And it's beautiful. And it's a little teeny. And Zoe loves it. And I love it. So enjoy that one. All right, let's let them go. I want to thank all of the spirit guides, higher selves, ascended masters, light beings, spirit teachers from all realms and dimensions, Akashic guides who were with us tonight. I want to thank you all and release you. Thank you for coming forward to guide us, nurture us, support us tonight. We appreciate you so much. We miss you. But we continue to create space for you and continue to seek the sound of your voice and your whispers on the wind. So we thank and release the guides and the guardians of the lower realms. Thank you for plugging us into that primal womb tonight and helping us connect with the world beneath our feet, the minerals, the bones, the ley lines, and vortex points. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the middle realm, all of our communities, guides, higher selves, ascended teachers, all of the ancestors of our community, we release you as well. Thank you for your presence this evening. To the guides and the guardians of the upper realms and the Akashic gateways, the angelic realms and gateways, the guides and guardians of the constellations and star systems, we release you as well with gratitude. We release and thank the guides and guardians of the north for stabilizing us, grounding us, connecting us. We thank and release the guides and guardians of the west. Thank you for your healing and your nurturing and your support. We thank and release the guides and the guardians of the south. Thank you for empowering us and strengthening us, reminding us who we are, so we don't forget. We thank and release the guides and guardians of the east for helping us shift our perspective, open us to new neural pathways and ways of seeing our world. And I thank and release you. Oh, it's so beautiful to read your reflections and to be here with you. That's so cool. Tara said, my great-grandmother, who I never met but raised my mom like her own, came to love on me, and I just can't stop the tears. Her love and energy was so strong for me. Tonight was more than I ever expected. Sometimes you get lucky like that. Yeah. Tonight my ancestors weren't there, but there were a lot of spirit guides and teachers. And the overwhelming message I heard over and over again was thank you for asking for help. We have to ask. They won't intervene. That I know for sure about the spirit world. That's why it's so important to be brave enough to say, I need help. What you got? Let's work it out. Yeah. Love you guys. Yeah. You are so welcome. And thank you, Alexis, as well. Okay, so I wanted to tell you, although, you know, it's public now, but we were able to do, you know how I'm teaching the Manifestation Masterclass? You guys get the class for free. That's coming up on June 29th. It's part of your Soul Shift membership for June. It's a 2.5-hour masterclass on manifestation. We sold out of the tools really quickly a couple days ago. Brooklyn was able to make like a medium-sized set. It's not quite as big. It's also not quite as expensive. It's a little different. She did what she could to put some of the elements back together. Whatever we could do is at sagegoddess.com, so I just want to make sure you guys know, in case you were waiting for some tools, this is the best we can do before the class. I don't think we have access to anything else. So if you want those tools, they're there, and they're 20% off. Your code is summer20. I think that's all I was supposed to tell you. Paul Revere came through. I like it. Brooklyn is amazing. You know, I mean, she spent like 2 hours today and yesterday going around the building trying to put something together. Because we feel bad, there's so many people who want to have some tools to work with for manifestation. It's like with the pandemic, it's just keeping things in good quantity is really hard right now. So I'm glad you got it if you wanted it. Isn't that cool? I love it. Escorted by mermaids. I was a Spanish goddess. Please continue to share in the Facebook group if you feel called to it. If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to share. But I love reading your stories. It really, for me, it's so fulfilling because I bring you here with intention, right? And knowing that you've had these experiences for me as your teacher is more than fulfilling. It's, pretty much my favorite thing to read. Yeah. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much. I want to wish you a beautiful rest of your evening. Tomorrow, there's nothing required for Soul Shift, but I am going to be live on Instagram with Yasmina, doing another interview with her. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be good. Yasmina and I just like to free flow it and kind of see what comes. So I'm going to be on her Instagram tomorrow because she was on mine last time and she wanted us to go live from her account tomorrow. So make sure you follow her on Instagram, and I'll be live with her she and I live an hour apart. She's in Malibu and I'm in Palos Verdes, we're just around the coast from each other. So we're in the same time zone. So that'll be 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Yeah, I think the link, we put a note or a mention in the Facebook group too, but you'll want to find that on Instagram. And then Friday I'll be offline, and I'll be offline most of the weekend, this weekend too. We've got a lot of different things going on, a lot of balls in the air, so I won't be online this weekend. I usually am online a little bit, but this weekend I probably won't be online very much. So I'll hope to see you tomorrow. I'll be in our Facebook group quite a bit tomorrow too, before Yasmina and after Yasmina, and then I'll be offline for the weekend. And then next week, classes begin. So I hope you're excited about that too. I can't wait. So this is just the beginning of our work for June. We have a lot coming in June. So in June, in addition to all of your classes for Soul Shift, you get the free Elder Council, you get the free Manifestation Masterclass, and you get a free private summer solstice ceremony with me a couple days before the regular solstice ceremony. I don't know if you knew that. It's called the Summer Gateway. And so all of those dates are on your June calendar, but it's kind of cool. I think it's like 5.5 or 6 hours of extra content this month that you don't pay for. It's all gifts to you guys. So thank you for being in Soul Shift. We love you and appreciate you. And it's just more and more and more this month. If it's overwhelming for you, if it's too much for you, you don't have to come to the optional things. You can just focus on class. You don't have to do the gateway. Elder Council is optional. You don't have to do the summer or the manifestation class, but they are kind of perks with your membership. So I'm so glad you're excited. I know, and we're just getting started. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, I hope. It would be lovely to have my dearest brother and sisterhood there on the Yasmina interview. You're welcome to ask questions. I'll see if we get to them. Last time we were so involved in our chit chat, I don't think we answered any questions. So maybe we can do more of that tomorrow. All right, you guys. Love you. Keep processing. I'll see you in the Facebook group. Bye.